This is episode 679, and today we're going to be talking about the path to self-mastery. So I know that I've been talking about self-mastery over several podcasts, but I can't overemphasize the importance of self-mastery in achieving your goals, whether they're physical or financial, but self-mastery is at the key of it, right? So self-mastery is really a lifelong journey that demands dedication, discipline, and relentless commitment to personal growth. So this is why I really embrace self-mastery, because we look at, first we want to look at, can we master ourself, hence self-mastery, and that includes the physical, the mental, the emotional, and spiritual. Once we can master ourselves, we can then begin to master or influence the things in our lives, such as our relationships and our finances. But if we can't master ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, we'll most likely not be able to master the other things in our life. So self-mastery involves cultivating mindfulness, practicing meditation, adhering to disciplined routines, not, oh, I feel like it when I can, and embracing continuous self-improvement, which I hope you, if you're listening to this podcast or watching this on YouTube, that you are part of continuous self-improvement. So in this podcast, we'll explore these disciplines in detail and provide practical steps to help you embark on the path to self-mastery. So let's start with mindfulness, right? Mindfulness is the foundation of self-mastery. It involves fully being present in the moment and aware of your thoughts, emotions, and surroundings. This is probably the biggest challenge within self-mastery, is we do things so unconsciously. We brush our teeth unconsciously. We get up and put on clothes and go to work or go to the gym unconsciously. We eat almost unconsciously. We never really are, there was an expression by one of my mentors, be here now. And this is what we want to talk about within mindfulness, right? And by practicing mindfulness, you can gain a better control over your reactions and make more conscious decisions. So we want to be able to think about what we're going to do. And then while we are doing that action, we want to pay attention to what we are doing. And then we want to see things that are around us. So mindfulness, it's almost, we can look at it from the thought perspective, right? What am I thinking? My feelings, what are my emotions, and my surroundings? Do you have situational awareness? And this can help as a self-preservation or protective mode. You're walking down a street and you're listening to music and you're not aware of your surroundings, you might be setting yourself up for an unfavorable experience. Where if you use your peripheral vision and just look around, you will see things that probably you'd want to avoid. So one of the things with mindfulness is create a daily practice. And it doesn't have to be the same thing every day, but it could be, okay, for dinner, I'm going to take my time, I'm going to chew the food, enjoy every single flavor of it. Or if you're in a conversation, I'm going to be present now. You put your smartphone away, you put everything else away, but create a daily practice. And if you haven't done it and it seems challenging, just start for 1 minute. If you're married, 1 minute of really listening to your significant other. If you're not, 1 minute of really listening to somebody at work or a friend. Just be mindful and be present and be here now when you're communicating. Mindful activities instead of arbitrarily just doing stuff. Think about it. And this can be, we can take our mindless activities and make them mindful. That is, you get into the car. If you have a newer version, you probably have a push start, but watch your hand, your finger go into the push start it. What do you feel? What do you hear? How do the seats feel? How does the steering wheel feel? All of that can become a mindful activity. And then mindful apps, Calm, and there's so many other ones, Insight Timer. There's tons and tons of apps out there and even on YouTube to practice mindfulness. So now let's move on to meditation. So meditation is a powerful tool for developing self-mastery. It helps calm the mind, reduces stress, and improves focus. Regular meditation can lead to greater self-awareness and inner peace. And when we think of meditation, often my clients think of, well, I have to do it for an hour, 45 minutes. And no, if you haven't done meditation at all or for a long time, just start with 1 minute. Breathe in to a count of 4, breathe out to a count of 6. That's 10 seconds. Do that 6 times and just focus on your breath. That is a meditation. We want to make sure we set ourselves up for success. So we want to look at what's the minimum I can do. And back in the mindfulness one, right, we're not taking any time to be mindful. We're using our current activities and being mindful about them. With meditation, it can take a little bit of time, but 1 minute you're breathing anyway. So just stop, stand, sit, close your eyes, breathe in for 4, out for 6, and you got it done. So we want to start practicing meditation when we have that space, if you will. And so we want to choose a technique, whether it's Zen meditation with your eyes open or sitting meditation with your eyes closed, walking in nature without headphones, right? Forest bathing, any of these. We want to choose a technique and then determine what's the minimum we can commit to. It may be 1 minute twice a week. Great. Then when that starts to progress, you may, hey, I can do 1 minute 3 times a week, then 4 times. And then you keep adding to it. And then create that routine. So unlike mindfulness, meditation, we want to have a set time when we do it. Maybe when you wake up before you jump out of bed, sit up, close your eyes, breathe in for 4, breathe out for 6. Great. So when I wake up, I meditate. Or maybe you wake up, go to the gym, do all of that, and then before you leave the house or go into your home office, you sit, close your eyes, breathe in for 4, breathe out for 6. But you want to have a routine that is consistent every time so your body and mind will get used to it, right? And again, we want to just start small. Start with, 1 minute of what you like, and it can be many, many things. So now let's look at creating disciplined routines, which meditation can be part of it, right? Disciplined routines are essential for self-mastery. They provide structure, help build good habits, and ensure that you make steady progress towards your goals. So we want to set clear goals, and that can be, I'm going to work out 5 days a week at the gym. I'm going to wake up at. We want to set really clear goals, and they can use the SMART or the SMARTER acronym to do that. But we want to have these goals that challenge us a little bit. If it's easy, such as, I'm going to do the dishes before I go to bed. And some days you do, some days you don't. It's not going to really challenge you. Just because something is an annoyance, it doesn't mean it's a challenge, right? So we have to define and make sure that we know what is annoying us or what's, that is not really a challenge. So we want to set clear goals that will challenge us to become a better person. And then we want to prioritize the tasks. This is especially true at work. Most individuals will do reactive work, emails, text, et cetera, and then by the time the day is finished, they haven't had a chance to do their proactive work. So when we set clear goals or objectives, we want to prioritize the tasks that support those. If you say you want to get fit and in shape, although that's not a clear goal, and you don't prioritize it, and I asked you to count how many hours you spent on working out, you come back with 1 hour, well then what you're saying is that really isn't a priority, even though you say it is. So we want to prioritize our tasks and then track them to make sure they align. And then there's consistency. I would venture to say once a week, just barely consistent. Twice a week, when we can do something twice in a finite period of time, that can start to build consistency. That may be you go to the gym twice for strength training. Great. You walk twice a week at 10,000 steps. Whatever it is, I would avoid once a week because that's just not really consistent. Although once a week falls under the definition of consistency, but if we're talking about self-mastery and disciplined routines, minimum would be doing something twice a week. So then now let's take a look at continuous self-improvement, right? Continuous self-improvement is the essence of self-mastery, meaning we keep improving. And how do we improve? We push ourselves. We challenge ourselves. We do that by setting clear goals. It involves a commitment to learning, growing, and evolving throughout your life. This lifelong learning, it's not just, watching TV. We want to read and then take action on what we've read. It's great to read, and I read a lot, but a lot of times we read, put it aside, read, put aside. It's entertainment. But in order to develop self-mastery with continuous self-improvement, we want to read, then put into action. So we want to start with learning, right? So reading, maybe listening to an audio, watching a great documentary or a great learning video on YouTube, but then we want to start to apply it and see what happens to our life. And this would be the essence of lifelong learning. And then we get a result from it and we reflect and adapt, or correct and continue, right? We read a book about financial investing. It may be on options. We go open an account, we place our position, and we lose money. Okay, well, the learning isn't you're never going to do that again. The learning is, what signs did you look at? How did you know that was a good option to invest in? And then adapt and do it over again. But here's the thing with self-improvement. Often you will, quote, fail first before you improve, because it's the failure or the lack of results that you're looking for is an indication of your needing to improve in that area. And then we want to seek feedback. And this is where a coach can come in very handy. If it was investing, you get a financial coach. If it's self-mastery, you get me. If it's something, a personal training, you get a coach there. But you want to get coaches to provide you with feedback as to how you are doing in that specific area. So keep in mind, right, the path to self-mastery is a rewarding journey that requires mindfulness, meditation, disciplined routines, and a commitment to continuous self-improvement. By incorporating these practices into your daily life, you can develop greater self-awareness, inner peace, and personal growth. Remember, self-mastery is not a destination, but a lifelong pursuit. Embrace the journey, embrace the adventure, enjoy the process of becoming the best version of yourself. If you want to see the show notes on this podcast, you can visit warriormindcoach.com. While you're there, you can find some more useful information in the form of blog posts, podcast, and you'll also find out how to contact me for an introductory consultation. Since you'll be on the internet, please follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest under Warrior Mind Coach.